You're tuned on to iBrand Daybreak, and now it's time to delve into the topic we have for you this morning. The All Progressive Congress has released 9 guidelines for the conduct of presidential, governorship, and parliamentary aspirants ahead of primaries. Aspirants are expected to sign undertakings to accept the outcomes of the shadow polls and support whoever emerges as a candidate for the general elections. The ruling party also directed them to take oath not to engage in thuggery, anti-party activities, factionalisation of the creation or parallel congresses and party organs at any level. The contenders have been barred from going to court without first exhausting avenues for redress and ventilation of grievances. These conditions. Now, some of these conditions include some of the things here.
Some of the conditions. The first being to abide, to preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as well as the APC. 2, to abide by the primary election guidelines of APC and the Nigerian Electoral Act. The third guideline there is that to abide by APC, to place rather APC above selfish interests. The fourth being that primary campaign organization and supporters undertake to accept the outcome of the primary and support whoever emerges as APC candidate for the general election. The fifth one is to abide not to engage in dishonest practices, thuggery, being absent from meetings to which he or she is invited without reasonable cause, carrying out anti-party activities which tend to disrupt the peaceful, lawful and efficient organization of the party or which are inconsistent with the aims and objectives of the party. The sixth being not to give wrong information to any organ of the party or unauthorized publicity of a party dispute without exhausting all avenues or settlement or redress within the party. The seventh, not to file any action in court of law against the party or any of its officers or on any matters relating to the discharge of their duties of the party without first exhausting all avenues for redress provided. The eighth being to always follow the path of justice, honesty and unity among fellow contestants and party members, while the ninth is not to factionalize or create a parallel congress, election or party organ at any level. Those are the 9 conditions, from the APC. And join us to discuss this is Prince Adebola Adeniji Adele Jr. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Who give you my name as correctly?
Just to add, he's a national president and ED of Citizens Liberation Advocacy Initiative. Now, you have an amazing profile there. We appreciate you on the show this morning.
I like that. Thank you very much.
So now, what do you make of it? What's your thought on the 9 guidelines given by the APC to people who are willing to fight for
let me firstly and foremostly ask you to see that. Thank you for inviting me. Out of millions of Nigerians that you brought me to this stage. Let's pray for them.
Let's pray for them. Prayer.
They need prayer. See, I don't know how they are going to do it. All these 10 things you mentioned here. 9?
Yes.
1 out of it. I don't know how they are going to do it in Ogun State. They have 2 parallel in Ogun State.
Yes.
They have 2 parallel in Kwara State. So they are now saying it now that the parallel should not happen. Let's pray for them. See, what we don't even expect to happen, it has now happened in this country. Where I, as I am, thought that who will see that money? That when they jump from 40 million naira to 100 million naira, I was shocked when I begin to see like 20 people who have been collecting forms with 100 million naira. So it means there's money in this country. So why are we perishing the downtrodden with all this what they have? Okay? So it shows clearly that some people are just going there to do whatever. But the Nigeria is now ready for them. We are waiting for them till when we see who emerges in all the political parties. That is what we are waiting for. See, initially, people are embracing political party. But before, people see political party as the one that make us to be where we are today. Let me quote him. The president of this country, which our president of this country, General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. Okay. When in 2015, But this president did not have money to buy form. For how much?
22.5 million.
God bless you. So people raise, say, where much should I get it? He went to his bank. The Oyego told him that if you want to contest, better go and look for that money. Straightly. He did. And probably because of the eagerness of Nigerians and the hope they have in him, that's why they voted him.
Hope of what actually? Is he in fighting of corruption or insecurity as promised?
That what he said, that we are following that time to deal with corruptions and this insurgency we have today. In 2015, they increased from that amount you called now to almost 45 million. 2015. Our president did not say the money is too much because he has seen money.
2019, you meant?
2019, sorry. That he can be able to pay that money, that 45 million in 2019. It is that oak or that eyes they are looking at it that in 2023, where we are now, that they wanted to use that 100 million to scare away some people. That probably if they did not see that money, they will not come out to take it from. But surprisingly, there are a lot of people who do not even think that he has that money. But they hide under they buy the fund for me. They contribute the money for me. So we have this money in this country. That is my baffle. Now, the way this country is going, out of 20-something that are bought from now, how many are we looking for or looking at? One. Then, where are they going to stand? Are they going to stand on consensus? Or they are going to stand on direct primary or indirect primary?
All right, now I would like us to streamline our conversations to the guidelines that the APC had given one after the other.
See, the guideline you have made mention here, they are using that one to keep themselves. You will see what will happen. I who said that let's pray for them, I know what I'm talking about. So the guidelines, it makes them not to go astray from their political party. You didn't know what happened to PDP in 2019 or 2015 either. When all these guidelines, something like this, that was not even go well with them. So what happened?
Okay, let's look at the guidelines. Yes. You mentioned earlier that even prior to the release of these guidelines, that we've had parallel congresses at various states, which has not yet been resolved. I mean, what has only been resolved for the APC has been the national leadership tussle or crisis over the last few months. Prior to the adoption of or implementation of these guidelines, how do they even resolve the current...
Who among of them will be the delegate to go to Abuja to vote? For which version?
Because even in Ogun State...
For which version? You see, Bikula Mosu is there. Then Abiodun also is there. And that even they have sent the vice president of this country, Yemi Oshibajo, to Ogun State.
Yeah.
Now, they have left, he said he should leave Lagos State to go and contest his positions in Lagos State. So, who is going to, which delegates are they going to accept at the National Convention?
So, in other words, the guideline that has to do with there shouldn't be factionalization within the party or a breakaway Congress.
See, all these guidelines has died directly before arrivals. See, they are going to jump it, and they are not going to follow it when time comes. See, only what we are looking for is that we are just looking for 19 days to come.
Exactly.
And see how they are going to make these guidelines to work for themselves. See, there's nothing English we will not hear or heard from the political people. And when you look at what is happening now, who will give one for what? See the meeting they did at Southwest in Lagos State.
Lagos.
Does anybody as close as they are, alike they are, who they groomed together since 1999. See what's happening in the round table. Nobody can leave that position for anybody. So that is the just sign you see there that is going to national. If
we still have factions, and various parallel congresses at this time, going into the general elections, not just the presidential primaries, but also all the primaries across the states. Don't you think that we'll still have court cases which will negate one of the guidelines that talks about
that is it? That is it. See, in Nigeria today, I want to beg politicians, they should be truthful. And so they should search their heart. That all these things we are writing down or what we are sending to people, is it going to work? Look at Osun State. Which of the National Assembly, which of the House of Assembly that will be accepted of the two passions of Aregbesola and Oyetola? So what did you just tell me? The only areas that was camp enough are where we still have a governors of the party now, which is in Ekiti, okay, in Ondo and Lagos State. And what they enjoy in Lagos State, I don't see any state that can enjoy that, where they can give that governor of that state an automatic ticket. You see it? So the Lagos State has killed the fashions of any both side. The person that is making them to have the fashions is that Jandol, and he has left to PDP. So by doing that now, the Lagos State were informed. They see themselves as one body. They see themselves as good to go. So that's why you can see the GAC or I don't know how they call council that have made that suggestion that let us endorse these our governors to go for second term.
All right. Now you mentioned that these guidelines are dead on arrival.
Yes.
But that's a very strong statement to make. But I want to read the guideline number 5 that says abide not to engage in dishonest practices, thuggery, being absent from meetings to which he or she is invited without reasonable cause, carrying out anti-party activities which tend to disrupt the peaceful, lawful and efficient organization of the party or which are inconsistent with the aims and objectives of the party.
We are reading it now.
Now, you know the issue with APC not being, of course, talks have been that they are not being united over time. So could it be that these guidelines are to make them united for the sake of the general election? I say that because you mentioned it's dead on arrival, but we know the importance of guidelines in organizations to help people know where they should
I
follow.
think people who contest, who has bought form, are not as many as this.
Oh, so you think it's because of the number?
Oh, who wanted to lose 100 million for nothing? You wait and see. See, we are seeing the write-up. The action have not started. When the action started, you remember me that I said something. See, the action that is coming, nobody is ready to waste his 100 million for nothing.
But there are consequences when you flaunt these guidelines, even though you had picked the form.
Who? Don't you see what even the National Assembly passed? That if you wanted to contest, you resigned. How many of them have resigned now? Is Abechi resigned? So all this one you are just saying now, you are saying even the eye of the law, the one that belongs to Nigerians, which is the constitution of the country, some people of them have not obeyed it, and they wanted to obey the guidelines of the party. They are using this one to guide themselves. So if it is too late, they wanted to punish him, he can go to another political party, and that's what they don't want it to happen. They could have streamlined of how many numbers to collect for. Now, what they put here, the guideline could have worked. But now, I don't see where it's going to work. Wait and see.
Let's talk about the guidelines. Virtually all of them have the clause of, exhausting every means of redress before, going to court, or taking other measures.
Yes.
Now, what would now be the measures in place in terms of seeking redress within the party, either from the NEC or the working committee itself?
See, they use these guidelines, these 9 guidelines to mortgage them. Not to do the way they are doing before. Did you know that this thing was not excessively like this when PDP decamped from the PDP to APC?
New PDP members.
New PDP, God bless you. Those factionalized new PDP that came to. Well, but when I now see that place is not go with them. Didn't know Bilaya and others, they left. Okay? Now, as it is now, you will see what will happen. Is your law that you made. And if it is this way you wanted to do, but what all of them want is that, what could have good for them? That could have silenced this to work, as many as those people that collected from or pay 100 million. They could have let it be direct primaries.
Okay. Now, I really get your point, but then I want to...
So understand.
So, yeah, but permit me to digress a little now. Let's talk about Godwin Emefiele.
Okay.
He has stated his ambition, and then the talk that he would interfere with the leadership of the Central Bank of Nigeria. And some of the stories on the national dailies today, for some of the writers mentioned the fact that some of the electoral materials that would be safeguarded in the CBN, if he has to contest for this presidential, of course, to be the president of Nigeria, he would interfere. Now, there are fears that having to be the CBN governor and having to also want to be the president of Nigeria, that would be, it doesn't work hand in hand. So what's your thoughts on that?
You know, he has gone to court yesterday.
Yes, he has.
And court have not yet determined whether he has the right to run.
Yeah, he went to court. He took them to court.
See, that is the way we abuse power in this country. Now, because you have the opportunity giving you the second chance of eliminating yourself for 4 years, and they are reappointed you for another 4 years. Did you know that out of the form, even if it is from the APC bought form, out of that form, did you know how many numbers of political members supposed to have signed for him?